Good morning viewers, this is Pradeep, Managing Director of PlanWize Constructions. Today we are going to see the difference between a traditional clay brick and a fly ash brick. So what are all the differences between a traditional clay brick and a fly ash? So what are the advantages of fly ash bricks that we have? So there are many advantages of using a fly ash brick. So let me now list it down. The most important advantage is that the fly ash is an eco-friendly product. So here let the word properties, and here let me mention traditional clay bricks. Here let me write it as fly ash bricks. So I'll make 3 columns like this. So the very first point of using fly ash brick is eco-friendliness. As I already told you, traditional clay bricks is not an eco-friendly product, whereas the fly ash brick is an eco-friendly product. Let me just put it as a tick and let me put an N2 here. So what are the advantages of an eco-friendly product? Is there any other advantage in using an eco-friendly product? Yes, there are certain government subsidies and schemes available for using eco-friendly product, which will come under the green building scheme. And for that you have to get in touch with the appropriate organization to get those benefits. So fly ash brick comes in a green building scheme. So that is a very good point of the fly ash bricks. The most important reason for using a fly ash brick, or the most advantageous point of fly ash brick, is the compressive strength. So I am just writing it as compressive strength. The compressive strength of a traditional clay brick is something like 30 to 35 kilograms per centimeter square, whereas the compressive strength of a fly ash brick ranges between 90 to 100 kg per centimeter square. Now what does this mean? This means that fly ash bricks is 3 times more stronger than the traditional clay bricks. So when we take these compressive strength, fly ash again has an advantage. Now let me go on to water absorption. So the next point will be something like water absorption. Now when you take a traditional clay brick and put it into the water, what happens? It absorbs 15 to 25% of its own body weight of water. So the water absorption here is something like 15 to 25%, and this is properly done in a proper procedure using the water absorption test, whereas a fly ash brick is 10 to 14%. So even in water absorption, fly ash bricks is clearly a winner. Now what does this do? In the long run, it provides less cracks, and the life cycle of a building, the life of a building may even increase in case of fly ash bricks, since water absorption is less, and in the longer run it will benefit. Now let me go on to the next point, which is the dimensional stability. Now the traditional clay bricks is not of uniform size and shape. The dimensional stability of traditional clay bricks is comparatively very less when we take a fly ash brick into consideration. Generally the traditional clay bricks are not of uniform size and shape, whereas the fly ash bricks is always of the same size and shape. So even here the fly ash brick has the advantage. Again, due to this advantage, we have a lot of indirect savings in using the cement mortar. Now let me go on to the next point, which is the density. I'll just put as density. So what is density? Density is basically the weight of a brick in terms of a particular area. See, it is always measured in, say, meter cube. So what is the density of a traditional clay brick? So it varies between 1600 to 1750 kilograms per meter cube. And this particular test is done for a first quality clay brick. Now when we take the fly ash brick, the density varies between 1700 to 1850 kilograms per meter cube. So even here, fly ash bricks is a clear winner. These 5 key factors, we can see that fly ash brick is clearly a winner. Now let us see some other factors also. So I'll just erase it down and let us see some other factors. Now let us move on to the next point, which is the wastage. Now when does the wastage happens? It usually happens during transport and also during when the labor handles the brick. Wastage for a traditional clay bricks is something like 10%. Whereas in fly ash bricks, it is actually almost nil or less than 2%. So even in terms of wastage, fly ash bricks is clearly the winner. It has a huge advantage. So again, what does this do? This indirectly reduces the cost of construction. The next point that we are going to see is again a very important point, that is a plastering. Now, traditional fly ash bricks is not uniform in size and shape. Even if we get it from the same vendor, there will be some changes in the size and shape, and it is not possible to get it from the same vendor also. Whereas in fly ash bricks, even if you get it from a different vendor, it has a uniform shape and size, which means that plastering, more effort is required and more mortar is required and more time and labor is required in case of a traditional clay brick. In case of a fly ash brick, the effort required and the time required is less because the fly ash brick is of uniform size and shape. So here also clearly fly ash has the advantage. Now let me go on to a next point of plastering. See, nowadays, to be more cost efficient and time efficient, we do plastering using POP and gypsum. So generally, builders and architects prefer POP and gypsum plastering when using a lightweight block like Aerocon block or something like that. But even in case of a fly ash brick, a gypsum plastering or a POP plastering can be used. And the reason for that is, since it is of uniform size and shape, it goes very well with the fly ash brick. And when we do it, we are going to save a huge amount of money and labor. This particular point is an important thing. This area is really unexplored because while using this gypsum or POP plastering, generally they prefer a higher expensive material like a lightweight block. It is used more widely these days to save a lot of time and labor. Now what does this do? When we go for a POP or a gypsum plastering, the cement plaster is not at all required. So what happens in case of fly ash brick, since the size and shape of a fly ash brick is uniform, the quantity of POP or gypsum required for plastering is very less. So even here, fly ash has the bigger advantage. See, most people, while using POP or gypsum plastering, prefer a lightweight block or a slightly costlier material like a Aerocon lightweight block or something when they prefer POP or gypsum plastering. But the truth is, we can even use a fly ash brick and go for a gypsum or a POP plastering. And by doing this, we save a lot of time, money and labor. So this particular area of using the combination of a fly ash brick and a POP or gypsum plastering is slightly unexplored, and which can be done, and it will reduce in very good cost effectiveness. Okay, now let me go on to the next point, which is the thermal property. So let me go to the thermal property. So when we talk about thermal property, again the fly ash brick is comparatively very cooler compared to the traditional clay bricks. So it keeps the building, when compared to a traditional clay brick, the fly ash brick absorbs less heat, which means the building is more cooler in summer and it is more suitable for Indian climates. So as far as the thermal property is concerned, a traditional clay brick absorbs more heat, whereas a fly ash brick absorbs less heat. Let me go to the next point, which is the fire resistance. So when we talk about fire resistance, fly ash brick is more resistant to fire when compared to the traditional clay bricks. So here again we have 5 points. Again, out of these 5 points, fly ash brick clearly has more advantages. Now let us check few more factors like this. Let me erase it.
Never really know what's going on.
Buildability. Now, why we are considering buildability here? That is because since fly ash brick is a new product when we compare to clay bricks, is there any particular skill required to construct with the fly ash brick? Actually, no. Whatever method and whatever the skill a labor has to build with clay bricks, the same skill, the same labor, the same method is being used for fly ash brick also. So as far as buildability is concerned, both are good and there is no difference. There is no difference in skill level also. The next point is the availability. Again, why we are considering this availability? Since fly ash brick is a relatively new product compared to clay bricks, we have to check the availability also. Now generally clay bricks are available, as most of us know. Now the manufacturing of fly ash bricks has increased. So in availability also we can say both are easily available. But in the future things may change a little bit, where we can see fly ash brick might be easily available when compared to the traditional clay brick, since it's an eco-friendly product and since there's a severe shortage of resources like sand and other things. Now let me go to the next point. Okay, the next point is the cost. See, I know this is the point most of us would consider. So as I told, fly ash brick is less prone to cracks and it is of uniform size and shape, and it is it produces less wastage during transport and handling, and it requires less mortar for the brickwork as well as for the plastering. Fly ash bricks is indirectly very cheap compared to the traditional clay bricks, but we cannot exactly place a number like 10% or 15%. When we compare fly ash brick with traditional clay brick, it is very clear that fly ash brick is much economical than the clay bricks. Now again the uses. So where can a traditional clay brick be used and where can a fly ash brick be used? See, fly ash brick can be used in all places where we use a traditional clay brick. It can be used for high-rise buildings, for residents, for commercial, for industries, for drainage, for ramps, anywhere. So we have seen 14 of the key factors. So out of these 14 key factors, we can clearly see fly ash bricks has more advantages than the traditional clay bricks. See, that is why we are using fly ash bricks in most of our construction projects, and we are also recommending our clients to use fly ash bricks. To see more useful videos like this and to gain knowledge, please subscribe to my channel PlanWize Constructions. Thank you.